As you know, I'm Cassandra Carothers. Um, I am the managing partner of a firm, a venture capital firm in the U.S. in Silicon Valley called Departure Capital, and I focus on early stage frontier tech innovations, so science and engineering backed companies that are addressing major existential level problems. So I focus a lot on climate change, planetary health, as well as on human health and critical and industrial infrastructure. So with that said, to your question, I think deep tech is where I spend all of my time. I'm very excited about the potential for science and engineering driven innovation to solve, to really be the types of fundamental innovation that's needed to address things like climate crisis, human health, disease, chronic disease, displacement of people for various, issues, especially climate refugees and so forth. And so for me, what I'm excited about deep tech is that it's lasting innovation and I think that venture capitalists and other types of financial institutions have a responsibility to invest in this type of technology because it's the type of technology that can shape entire societies and shape the future for decades to come. And I'm excited about the MENA region because I've seen a lot of really fascinating innovation, of course, across software, B2C, and now I'm seeing more B2B innovation, more collaboration with industry, with government, and interdisciplinary innovation. And so it's moving from things like mobility and fintech and gaming, and I'm seeing a lot more because you have such strong, from what I can tell, such strong academic ecosystems here, a lot of brilliant engineers and scientists. And I love seeing, I got to go to the Dubai Air Show last year, and I saw a lot of women space engineers, for example, aerospace scientists. So it's exciting to see also the transition from pure software into more deep tech innovation. So I'm excited, hopefully to start even making investments in this region in the near future.
Okay, that's good. So regarding the startups in the deep tech industry, so there's a lot of challenges that they may face nowadays. So what are these challenges in your opinion, and how can they overcome this in your point of view?
That's a great question. I think one of the biggest challenges often boils down to capital and runway, right? So I do believe, speaking as a venture capitalist, maybe I shouldn't say this, but VC and taking diluted funding for equity should really only be one of the solutions that deep tech founders consider. I think it's very important to keep in mind sources of non-dilutive funding. So if you have grants, whether it be research grants from the government, or perhaps other creative programming. In the U.S., for example, we have the STTR, the SBIR, those types of grants that founders, especially building deep technology and dual-use technology, can take advantage of, which does a lot of really unique things. I mean, it helps them extend their runway because it gets them the funding they need to work on their technology, and it also de-risks the company and the technology. I would say, just in today's market, the last couple of years have been an incredibly difficult fundraising environment in the US, in Europe, and pretty much globally, right? And so it's important to just run lean, focus on building as efficiently as possible. And I think there's an additional pressure, as always, but especially in this time, of getting product market fit as quickly as possible and wasting no time or money before you're doing customer discovery. So my main advice to founders building deep technology companies would be to focus on problem, to focus on customer, and to focus on what pain point you're solving and why you are unique, and why your idea must be the one that actually makes it to the market. Because if you're an amazing innovation looking for a problem and you're not sure who's going to pay you for that innovation, you're going to face a lot more trouble down the line.
That's some great advice. Okay, so last but not least, I want to ask you about your panel in the morning was talking about emerging tech transfer to co-creation. So I want you to tell us a key takeaway that you want to highlight in this panel discussion, or something you want the attendees or the audience to highlight?
Sure. Yeah, it was a fascinating conversation because, and what I loved about our discussion this morning is that we, in a short time, of course, covered everything from which was a topic I found very interesting, the origins of Silicon Valley as it is today, and how companies like Lockheed Martin and how certain individuals even played a role in the origin story of Silicon Valley and how it's actually thought of today of being, I think a lot of people globally see California and Silicon Valley as, a test bed for innovation, a place where some really remarkable companies during the internet age, during semiconductor age, compute, and before that were founded. But it was really interesting to have experts from industry, from academia, from government, and people with operational and venture capital experience to come together and have this discussion. I think the biggest takeaway for me was for a country or a region or a specific ecosystem as small as a city or a university to really succeed with what we'll call technology transfer or the commercialization of science, the commercialization of deep tech into market so that it can have real world applications. It can actually be adopted by industry and by society and make a real impact on people's lives. It has to be all of those things working together. It cannot be one scientist saying, I really want to, it can't be just scientists doing research in a lab in a silo. It has to be a team of scientists, people that are really supporting every step of the journey. It's making sure that scientists are aware that they can start companies and that entrepreneurship is an option for them. They have to be put in an environment where they feel that they're able and willing to take risks. So it has to be kind of a transparent and radically vulnerable ecosystem for them. And then they have to have obviously the incentives and the resources to make it happen. So it has to be a friendly ecosystem. Universities have to be more focused on impact and on application than on ownership so that the founders themselves are incentivized to stick with the company. And then there has to be, of course, an ecosystem around whatever institution or university is actually spinning out the innovations. They have to have a place to land. And if there's not, a place where they can get capital, where they can get funding, where they can de-risk their innovation and technology, and then eventually get it into the hands of customers. So that close collaboration between all of the factors of academia, universities, the entrepreneurs themselves, government institutions, which sometimes includes the military, industrial complex, as well as industry. So partnering with corporates, I think, is the most important takeaway for me. That it's a big group effort.
Yeah, that's why we're here today. All of us at the GITEX MENA for creating the ecosystem and the help for all of them to communicate and collaborate with each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm so happy having you today. Thank you so much for your time.
It's an honor to talk with you and to be here. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you. Likewise.